Hey there, welcome back to another LEGO set review. This is a smaller one. This is from LEGO Star Wars. This is one of the controversial LEGO Star Wars mech sets. And this is probably the most worthwhile one, I'd say, even if you're not a fan of the character. This is Boba Fett mech. This has 155 parts and it costs 16 bucks, which to some may seem a lot. I understand. It's not terrible. I was fine paying it. You are getting quite a lot of bulk with this mech, I think. And this is the only one that I really cared about buying for obvious reasons. It is Boba Fett themed, and I happen to have a shrine, and this goes perfectly in there. This is a pretty sweet set. It's not too expensive. The build was fun. Before we take a look at the mech itself, I'd like to take a look at that minifig, which in this case is a special figure, as most of you know. At this point, this Boba Fett is a completely brand new redesign for 2023, which is a little surprising that they pulled out all the stops. They fully printed this figure instead of just cheaping out and, you know, bringing something that they already done over and, you know, reusing something else. This is a completely new figure. It's got the gun, nothing special there. He's got arm printing. That is the big deal, and usually that is only in expensive sets, like Betrayal at Cloud City, wink wink, or the UCS Slave 1, another wink, but he's got printing all around. Every single thing is printed. It's just fantastic. He's got all the armor, all the scuffs, it's fantastic. This is from Empire Strikes Back. It's awesome. He's got the helmet, he's got the jetpack, he does not have the shoulder pauldron, the cape, the cloth cape, which it's fine. They decided not to include it. You can get it online. And he does have a new face, the younger Boba Fett. So this figure is just perfect. I have a video, Minifig Monday, coming if you want to hear my full thoughts, but this is just an excellent figure. The reason people buy this set is just for this, and I don't blame you. 16 bucks may seem like a lot, but you get a lot of cool pieces, and this minifig alone is worth buying the set for. So yeah, and it is the cheapest way yet to get a Boba Fett, which is just amazing to me. So yeah, in the past he's not come in that many cheap sets, so that's what I'm getting at. But yeah, this figure is perfect, but we'll set him aside to take a look at the mech, which is honestly pretty sweet looking. It does look weird, like if you see it without the figure in it, but it does have a lot of really cool details, and I think what makes this one better than the Darth Vader mech and the Stormtrooper mech is the fact that the coloring is so vibrant on this one, because obviously it's meant to represent Boba Fett's, you know, battered armor, and he has lots of colors on it, on the suit, so I think that helps. But in particular, I think I really like these, you know, dark or burnt yellow, as I like to call them, pieces. You got lots of sand blue and a little bit of sand green, dark green, some red, some brown, and some maroon red, along with some light gray, of course, dark gray as well. And it just works really well. Like it's a very appealing color palette, I think, and that's probably one of the reasons why it looks so good. And yeah, it does have a few features. The first feature is there's the chest plate, which in this case has a tile with Boba Fett's chest plate, like his design on it, and it's excellent, and it is only in the set, so that's cool. And there is a spot, like many of the mechs that they've come out with, for Boba Fett to stand in there. So if you take Boba Fett, take his gun out, and then just stand him in there, he's not really like secure, he's secure enough, but it's just one of those friends pieces that holds the figure. They're not like connected, if that makes sense. So you put Boba Fett in there and you seal it up like that, and now he's in there. And it looks better with him in it for sure, because the helmet makes it look like a mech, you know? Unfortunately, like some of the Marvel mechs, there's a problem. There's a big gap, like a hole section. So you look at it from the front, it's fine. You can see Boba Fett in there, it's good. But then when you look at it from the side, you can completely see the whole figure, which, it's not a great look, but you know what? You could add pieces. There's even a stud right there, so you can add stuff. I think it's fine. It's covered up enough. It's not too big of a problem. It's just something that's a nitpick to me. But yeah, that's the first feature. You can put him in there. Another feature is he does have his gun, which in this case looks a little simple, but he's got the scope. It's got a stud shooter on the end of it, so if you press that, it flies off and it never comes back. But yeah, it's a very powerful shooter, and it looks really nice. Although I saw that M&R Productions had his review, and I watched it, and he said it looks like a film camera. I can't really unsee it now, unfortunately. But it does have a good color scheme with the black and the brown, with the silver for the gun tip. It looks great. And the fact that you can angle it is also really nice. And the last feature is not too special. It's Boba Fett's jetpack, of course, as you would expect. This one's a flick missile, though, so it's not just for show. So if you want to actually fire it, it's a little fiddly. You have to, like, actually flick it with your finger. I mean, you can push it. It kind of goes, you know, but you really want to flick it. That's the point, you know. So if you go like this, sorry, you can't really see it that well, but yeah, it does flick, you know, it does actually work, and it works pretty well, and it looks very nice. I think the jetpack is probably my favorite part. Just, it looks very, like, cutesy, but in a cool way, you know. It looks very nice, you know, and it was cool to build too. The weakest part of this mech, I'd say, other than the exposed side, is probably this part on the back, the butt area, underneath the jetpack. It's just exposed. You can see the studs. There should have been at least, like, a piece to cover that, but it's not a big problem, folks. It's just something that I found. I really like the posability as well. You may notice that this mech, like the other two mechs from Star Wars, or I guess some of the Marvel ones too, or the newer ones, they have this new piece, so it's like an angled arm piece or leg part, and in this case it's dark gray. Unfortunately, this means that the arms and the legs cannot move, like, you can't move it more than this angle. So it's just stuck at this angle. Same with the legs, they have the same problem. It's not a terrible problem, it's just the posability compared to some of the earlier Marvel mechs and some of the other ones. It's going to be limited with with these mechs in particular, just because there's not as much posing. You know, there's not as much articulation, but I don't think it's that big of an issue. I just think it's a little bit, you know, lacking, but it's pretty good. The detailing, they definitely make up for the lack of movement with a lot of good detailing. So you can see there's a lot of, like, dark red, and you got the fingers, which move, and they look really good. You got the armor plating on the top, there's even a clip with a missile on each of the lower arms, and that's really cool. You can see just a lot of really nice building. It looks very thick. The arms and the legs are both very fat, but I think it works because Boba Fett's armor is very fat. It's very bulky, so it works really well in my opinion. And the legs that look really nice. I like in particular the way that these lower legs are built with this yellow and dark gray. Sand blue looks really nice as well, and the feet are honestly really cool. They got these pointy spurs that Fett is known to wear. Yeah, those look nice as well. And yeah, you can move up and down and all around. I do like the ball joints at the top of these builds, so it's not super limited. You can move the feet as well, the ball joints. Ball joint pieces are really nice. They're just very welcome, you know? And yeah, also one more thing. There are clips on the sides to put Boba Fett's gun, so when you're not using it, which is so handy. Sometimes they give you a weapon and there's nowhere else to put it, so it's just awkwardly on the side. So I find it very nice that they put some storage on this. That's very appreciated. And that's the mech. It's great. I think it's a really cool looking little thing. It's very bulky, but it's very recognizable, especially with the figure in it. And it has a decent amount of movement. It's not, you know, perfect, but it does move quite a bit. It moves well, plays well. I don't think there's anything that would like break on here necessarily. I mean, maybe the rocket tip or maybe some of the fingers, but those are fragile anyway. Also, one more thing. I do really like these sand green vent pieces right next to Boba's arm. I think those look really cool. And, yeah, I think this thing's awesome. I'm a big fan of this. When it was announced, I was kind of nervous. I'm like, how are they going to do a Boba Fett mech? I don't know about that. But then when I actually saw the pictures, I'm like, okay, I like that. It's different. It's definitely a unique type of thing. It's not... Boba Fett never has a robot at all, ever. It's a made-up thing. Lego made it up. It's not real. But I think it's a really cool idea. And it's a really good way to get a cheap Boba Fett. So that's what matters. And yeah. I do want to briefly show you another set that I got this year, which is the Slave One Microfighter. This thing looks kind of tiny compared to this mech. This one's also a good set. This one's cheaper, like $10, so it's a little bit cheaper. And this Slave One is amazing, especially, you know, with such few pieces. But yeah, I'd recommend both of these. I'd say you're probably getting a better value with the mech than the Microfighter. But it just depends on what you want, you know. So, I really like this set. I don't think it has anything majorly wrong with it. I mean, aside from that hole in the side and the back being a little exposed. And if you can get over the articulation of it not being as good as, you know, older sets, I think it's a really good buy, especially just for the figure. And even if you don't build this, I think you'll still have a great time with those parts. So... that's the mech. Let me know what you think. Do you like this one over the other ones? Which one would you like to see next? And yeah, this is the only mech that I really cared to buy. But I think it looks great in the shrine. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next review. And I will see you then. Take care and have a great day.